Your arteries do not suddenly clog at 80, they quietly stiffen and narrow after 61 meal at a time. And the worst part is this, you can feel perfectly normal while it's happening. If you want to stay healthy and independent as you age, hit that subscribe button right now. We share science-backed health tips like this every single day. For years, heart specialists have seen the same pattern. The people who protect their arteries best are usually not doing anything extreme. Not fancy cleanses, but simple daily habits. Not miracle pills, but smart food swaps. And today I'm going to show you 5 foods cardiologists keep coming back to because they help lower bad cholesterol, calm inflammation, and support the delicate inner lining of your blood vessels. That lining is called the endothelium, and think of it like the smooth, non-stick surface of a good frying pan. When it gets damaged, plaque sticks more easily. When it stays healthy, blood moves better. Now, before we continue, tell me your age and where you're watching from in the comments. This helps us understand who we're helping. Here's what most people get wrong. They think unclogging arteries means one food can melt years of plaque away like drain cleaner. It can't. Let me be clear. No honest cardiologist would tell you a berry, a nut, or a bottle of oil will magically erase blockage overnight. That's not how your body works. What these foods can do is something more real and more powerful. They can lower LDL, which is the kind of cholesterol most likely to get trapped in artery walls. They can reduce inflammation, which is the irritation that makes plaque more unstable, and they can help blood vessels relax instead of staying tight and stiff. There's another mistake people make after 60. They focus only on what to cut out. Less salt, less sugar, less fat, less this, less that. But heart health is not just about subtraction. It is also about replacement. A 2022 study from Harvard TH Chan School of Public Health found that people who consume more than 7 grams of olive oil a day had a 19% lower risk of cardiovascular disease mortality compared with people who rarely used it. Why? Because replacing the wrong fats with the right ones matters. Not no fat, but better fat. Not starving your body, but steering it in the right direction. And if this feels urgent, it should. Cardiovascular disease is still one of the biggest threats to independence after 60. It does not just raise the risk of heart attack. It can steal your walking ability, your stamina, your memory, even your confidence. So let's get practical. Number 5, blueberries. Most people think blueberries are just a healthy little fruit for smoothies, but actually they may help your arteries work better in a very direct way. Blueberries are packed with compounds called anthocyanins. Those are the dark blue and purple pigments. In plain English, they help protect blood vessels from wear and tear, kind of like wax protecting the paint on a car. A 2023 study led by King's College London and the University of Reading found that adults ages 65 to 80 who consumed 26 grams of freeze-dried wild blueberry powder a day, equal to about 178 grams of whole berries, had lower blood pressure and improved blood vessel function after 12 weeks. Their systolic blood pressure was 3.59 mm Hgs lower, and flow-mediated dilation, a marker of how well arteries open up, improved by 0.86%. That may sound small, but in heart health, small shifts repeated every day matter. A tiny daily leak sinks a boat. A tiny daily repair keeps it floating. So how do you actually use this? Keep it simple. Aim for 1 cup of fresh or frozen blueberries a day, or at least 4 to 5 days a week. Fresh is great. Frozen is often cheaper and just as useful. Put them on plain yogurt, stir them into oatmeal if you already eat it, add them to cottage cheese, or just eat them in a bowl with a spoon after lunch instead of cookies. If chewing is an issue, blend 1 cup with unsweetened milk and a handful of spinach, but don't drown them in sugar. That defeats the point. And here's a smart tip most people miss. Pair blueberries with protein or healthy fat. Why? Because fruit alone can leave you hungry an hour later. Fruit plus protein is steadier. Blueberries with yogurt, blueberries with walnuts, blueberries with a boiled egg on the side. That makes it easier to stay full and skip the junk that actually harms arteries. Quick question. Do you ever get winded on stairs, feel leg cramps when walking, or notice your feet stay cold? Comment yes or no below, because if that sounds familiar, number 4 becomes even more important. Number 4, avocados. Most people think avocados are too fatty to help the heart. But actually, this is where people confuse fat with damage. Not all fat acts the same in your body. Saturated fat is more like thick grease. Unsaturated fat is more like oil that keeps things moving. Avocados are rich in monounsaturated fat, plus fiber, plus potassium. That combination can help your cholesterol and blood pressure at the same time. A 2022 study from Penn State and partner universities found that eating 1 avocado a day for 6 months led to a slight drop in unhealthy cholesterol. LDL cholesterol fell by 2.5 mg/dL, and total cholesterol dropped by 2.9 mg/dL. It also improved diet quality by 8 points on a 100-point scale. That matters because one of the biggest heart problems after 60 is not one terrible food, it is a pattern of small, poor choices repeated for years. Avocado helps because it pushes out worse foods. So what should you do? Start with half an avocado a day if you're new to it. If your appetite is strong and your weight is stable, 1 whole avocado can work. Smash it on whole grain toast instead of butter, slice it into a salad instead of cheese-heavy dressing, add it to eggs instead of processed breakfast meat, or mash it with lemon and use it as a spread for sandwiches. See the pattern? Not adding extra calories on top of everything, but replacing the foods that are hurting you. If avocados are expensive where you live, buy smaller ones or use frozen avocado chunks. Even a quarter to a half avocado with lunch is better than none. And if you are watching your weight, just keep the portion steady. Heart smart does not mean unlimited. Here's the thing, avocado is not dramatic. You won't feel your arteries singing after 3 bites, but that is exactly why it works. Quiet foods build quiet wins. And wait until you see number 3. Number 3, walnuts. Most people think all nuts are basically the same, but actually walnuts stand out because they bring fiber, plant compounds, and a plant omega-3 fat called ALA. Think of walnuts like a tiny repair kit. They do not just lower one number on a blood test, they can improve the kind of LDL particles floating in your blood. And that matters because smaller, denser LDL particles are more likely to sneak into artery walls. A 2021 study involving older adults at Loma Linda University in Barcelona researchers found that eating about half a cup of walnuts every day for 2 years lowered LDL cholesterol by 4.3 mg/dl. It also reduced total LDL particles by 4.3% and the smaller, more harmful LDL particles by 6.1%. In men, LDL dropped by 7.9%. That is not hype. That is a measurable shift in the traffic inside your bloodstream. So how much do you need? A practical goal is 1 to 1.5 ounces a day, which is about a small handful, or around 14 walnut halves for 1 ounce. The study used about half a cup daily, but you do not have to jump straight there. Start smaller if your stomach is sensitive, add chopped walnuts to yogurt, sprinkle them over salad, mix them into plain oatmeal, or keep a small container by your chair and eat them instead of chips in the afternoon. But be careful with candied walnuts and salted snack mixes. That's like buying a fire extinguisher and filling it with syrup. You want plain or dry roasted walnuts, not dessert disguised as health food. And let me say something important. Walnuts work best when they replace processed snacks, not when they become an extra snack on top of cookies, crackers, and ice cream. Replacement is the secret. That is how cardiologists think. Not what can I add, but what can I swap? Before we go further, if this is making sense so far, hit that like button. It tells me you want more videos like this. Because number 2 is one of the most powerful artery foods on this list, and it's probably already in your grocery store. Number 2, leafy greens. Most people think leafy greens are just for digestion or weight loss, but actually they are one of the best foods for blood vessel flexibility. Greens like spinach, arugula, romaine, kale, and Swiss chard are high in natural nitrates. Don't let that word scare you. In vegetables, nitrates can help your body make nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is like a traffic cop for your arteries. It tells the blood vessels to relax, open up, and let blood move through more easily. A 2021 study from Edith Cowan University found that people who ate about 1 cup of nitrate-rich vegetables each day had around 2.5 millimeter Hgs, lower systolic blood pressure, and a 12% to 26% lower risk of heart disease. The biggest drop was in peripheral artery disease, which is narrowing in the leg arteries. That is huge after 60 because poor circulation in the legs can steal your walking strength long before a heart attack shows up. So what does 1 cup look like? About 1 packed cup raw spinach, or half a cup cooked greens, or a generous bed of arugula under your lunch. If you hate chewing big salads, blend spinach into a smoothie. Toss chopped greens into soup during the last 5 minutes of cooking. Add them to scrambled eggs, stir them into beans or rice. The goal is not gourmet, the goal is daily. And consistency matters more than perfection. 1 giant salad on Sunday will not protect your arteries all week. 1 cup most days will. Think of it like brushing your teeth. Not heroic, but effective. If you take a blood thinner like warfarin, keep listening because I need to talk about that in a minute. But first you need to hear number 1. I'd love to hear your story. What made you click on this video today? Share in the comments. Because number 1 is the food many cardiologists trust most. Not because it is trendy, but because it helps on multiple